morning, everyone. I'm Jules Keogh, and I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for today. I'm one of the instructors in the Nautical Science Department. Welcome family, friends, staff, and graduates to the first commencement of the Northeast Maritime Institute. Please remain standing for the playing of the Bermudian National Anthem, followed by the United States National Anthem. Military members, veterans, active duty, may salute. Thank you. Please be seated. I am delighted and privileged to be here for the first commencement of the Northeast Maritime College of Institute, College of Maritime Sciences class of 2016. Today we are here to celebrate the accomplishments and academic achievements of the graduating students, Elijah Simmons and Kiernan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to introduce you to our Honorable President, Eric DeWicki, for the welcome address and presentation of the Stoles of Gratitude.
Thank you, Senior Chief. Welcome. As I said earlier in this quick hello this morning, it's a moment that is historic. It is a moment that is a bit enlightening, and it's a moment that you can achieve your goals. And when I really look at these two rows of students, the population is growing. The fact that the population is growing with such incredible young men, and in January a young woman, and in September we hope 3 young women, we see a diversity that is becoming of the maritime industry. In the maritime industry, we've had a tradition in the United States that started here in New Bedford, in the whaling industry. And the whaling industry embraced diversity. And diversity meant that people from all walks of life, people from all religions, all races, all colors, all creeds worked together, slept together, cooked together, ate together, and it was the first moment where integration occurred in the history of the United States. So we have a lot to be proud of our industry, because our industry represents humanity. Anything less is unacceptable. So when we look at the humanity that you will bring forward as graduates, you both represent that extremely well. And you both represent what we believe in the 3 tenets of success. For those of you who don't know about the 3 tenets of success that Northeast Maritime Institute embraces, we just talked about this at our morning brunch. But we believe in 3 concepts. Honesty, and that means how to look one in the mirror and be comfortable with themselves. Integrity, say what you do and do what you say. And lastly, something that we really want to emphasize is work ethic, hard work. With those 3 concepts, they align, and we have talked about this, and we have talked about this, and we have talked about this with our students. And it's repetitive, but it's repetitive for a reason. It will absolutely bring you a great amount of success as a human being, as a mariner, as a father, as a friend, as a shipmate, and mostly as somebody who will embrace humanity. Our merchant marine does that. The merchant seamen that I've always met, really, truly, are the salt of the earth. And I think you too meet that objective. With that, I want to thank you all for celebrating 2 incredibly fine young men. I cannot speak higher about the 2 of them. One is stoic and diligent and hardworking beyond belief. The other has kept me laughing for the last 2 years. He has a brilliance about him that is unmeasured. And he's one of the kindest souls I've ever met as well. So, when you look at these 2 graduates, look at the idea that they by themselves have laid the foundation for Northeast Maritime Institute. By themselves. They were the ones left standing in a very rigorous program. But many of you don't know they received 83 college credits in 2 years. It's almost the equivalent of smashing 3 years together in 2. I told our friends and family at our brunch this morning that one of our professors explained to us, who teaches at UMass Dartmouth, who teaches at Bristol Community College and Bridgewater State University, he said, your 2 students achieved the highest by far out of any of my students. To me, that is reason for applause. I will tell you, I'm going to hold it together today. I'm going to try not to cry, and I think I'm going to achieve that. But I will tell you, both of you, I love you both. I'm proud of you both. And truly, I look at you 2 as the future of what we're trying to accomplish. So thank you from us to you, because you have taught us as much as we taught you. Thank you. So, the stoles of gratitude. We have stoles of gratitude that you are to don, like a life jacket, because the stoles of gratitude represent the concept of gratitude, the art of gratitude. We've talked about that in the past. They represent the people, the places, the things that you have to be grateful for during this endeavor. The concept of the stoles of gratitude is these two young men will wear them, graduates will wear them, and upon the end of the ceremony, you two graduates will give your stoles of gratitude to the people who you want to impart your gratitude to. It's really a beautiful ceremony, and if you could come up here, Mrs. Correa will don those stoles of gratitude on you, please.
Thank you, Mr. DeWicki. Now I'd like to introduce Angela DeWicki, the Chief Academic Officer of Northeast Maritime Institute, who will now present the Lemley List Awards.
The Captain Norman W. Lemley Award is presented to students who demonstrate superior academic performance at the end of each semester. Students are eligible for the Lemley List in any semester during which they maintain a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 or above, with no individual grade lower than a C. For a little history, Norman Lemley served in the United States Coast Guard for over 36 years. He completed Officer Candidate School in 1962 and was commissioned as an ensign. As an officer in the Coast Guard Reserve, he concentrated on port security and mobilization planning, and was assigned to both the Coast Guard headquarters and the Pentagon. He retired in 1998 as a captain. As a Coast Guard civilian employee, he rose to the Senior Executive Service, the civilian equivalent of a flag officer. During his 25 years in senior leadership positions, Norman was a driving force in both the development and implementation of nearly every major marine safety, security, and pollution prevention initiative. In retirement, Norman Lemley continued his tireless efforts to honor the mariner, consulting on many maritime issues, as well as becoming a strong advocate for Northeast Maritime Institute. Norman served as the Director of Maritime Safety and Security at Northeast Maritime Institute for 15 years. I am proud today to announce that both Kevin and Elijah are being awarded Lemley List honors, not only for this past semester, as well as the spring semester, and even more proudly to announce they obtained this honor for the entire 4 semesters they were here, which is both Kevin and Elijah worked extremely hard this last semester. No goofing off for our final semester. And both finished with GPAs for the term higher than 3.5. Quite a testimony. Their professors have bragged about their work ethic, enthusiasm, dedication, and leadership qualities. And they have set very strong examples for the other students in the program. You guys have a lot to work towards. So Kevin and Elijah, if you could please come up and receive your awards. You will actually have 3 certificates. I know. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Very proud.
I would like to now introduce the Director of the Nautical Science Department, Captain Tom Sullivan.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. For cohorts 1 through 3, it's not very often you see me with notes in front of the crowd. I've got some for today. No whiteboard, so you're going to luck out this morning. No need to take notes on this one. As a director of the Nautical Science program here at NMI, I had the pleasure of crafting the curriculum, bringing all of these courses together to help merchant mariners like Kevin and Elijah, no longer students, merchant mariners, to know what I wish I knew back then when I was starting out. Kevin, Elijah, I promise this is the last of my soapbox speeches. During this process, I began to realize that the words of my mentors were echoing through my head over and over again. The topics, the methods, the praise, the constructive criticism all came together, and I wanted to impart the same thing to you. And what echoed in my head the strongest was what a captain much more eloquent than myself once told me about what nautical science was. Kevin and Elijah, you heard this the first 15 minutes of our very first class together. I read this to you. And it still strikes a chord today, and I hope it carries on with the cohorts that follow in your wake. It's certainly unfortunate that nautical science holds such an insignificant place in our traditional education institutions, as well as in the minds of people at large. Defined as esoteric, even the slightest consideration of nautical science allows anyone to realize that it offers a practical way to understand such basic topics as math and physics. Studying navigation and the controlling forces on a ship seemed to bring hands-on meaning to the principles of Archimedes, Copernicus, Newton, Kepler, Bernoulli, the list goes on. Once considered to be so boring. But maybe nautical science provides a unique connection to our saltwater roots and our maritime past. But going beyond the academics into quiet reflection, there's many subtle comparisons between life and nautical science. For most, birth, like departure from a safe harbor, is the beginning of a long journey from a known position. Proceeding cautiously at first, we develop skills, learn the ropes, gain the experience necessary to make choices with regard to our course, our speed, and head towards the direction that we've chosen. As time goes by, we quickly see that life often takes on the characteristics of a sailing ship on a broad reach, gently rolling with the prevailing winds. And as we well know, more often than not, it seems like a hard upwind reach, with each wave knocking us back further off our chosen course. Occasionally there's squalls, some small, but some so violent that we find ourselves with the sails blown out and wallowing in the trough of mountainous seas. With the passage of each squall, we become more alert and more cautious. Even with such obstacles, we're able to perceive and use one of several means to fix our position. Lines of position like relationships, families, education, and our careers. So often our journey is influenced by a change in the winds, and we must always be ready to alter our course. Change tacks, heave to, set full sail, or anchor and hold fast. If only more people were as fortunate as us to have experienced life from the perspective of the high seas and the deck of a ship. Maybe then we could all develop a certain humble respect for our place in the world and deal with life's issues in a modest and straightforward way. The same way in which we deal with the safe and successful navigation of a ship on the constantly changing world of the sea. Joseph Conrad, one of my favorite writers, wrote of our profession that going to sea is the redeeming and ideal aspect of this breadwinning. It's the attainment and preservation of the highest possible skill. It's made up of accumulated tradition, kept alive by individual pride, rendered exact by professional opinion, and like the higher arts, it's spurred on and sustained by discriminating praise. That's why the attainment of proficiency in pushing of your skill with the attention to the most delicate shades of excellence is a matter of vital concern. Through the last 2 years, I realized that Elijah and Kevin embodied that idea. Conrad's words rang true with cohort 1. In fact, they've both proven continuously that they're willing, adaptable, and ready for whatever challenges life brings them, at sea and also ashore. I've been witness to these two individuals from wildly different beginnings, work together with all the growing pains that one could imagine with the college program starting, but always remaining focused on that horizon and for that seemingly far-off distant harbor. I can only hope that they're as excited for their next voyage as I am. and that NMI will be a much better place for all their effort and the work that they put into this program. Thank you both for allowing me to be a part of your voyage, and I hope that our courses cross again in the future. With that being said, since you are the first cohort, you built this school, and I don't mean that in the metaphorical sense of building a college program. I mean hands-on, painting, putting up walls, plastering, tearing down walls. You were a part of every step along the way into what the program is to this day. So I would like to formally recognize both of you and start yet another tradition here at NMI, which is the Keystone Foundation. And the Keystone Foundation, both of you could come up on stage yet again. Get your work out today, boys. The first thing that I'd like to recognize both of them with is a copy of the American Practical Navigator. For those of you that aren't familiar with this book, this is the epitome of what a mariner needs to know. Written by Nathaniel Bowditch, it covers topics that these two merchant mariners now know by heart. Chapter by chapter, this explains their journey through the academic process. As part of the school, Mr. Kiernan, carry that proudly with you. Absolutely. And Mr. Simmons, the same. But that's not it. But wait, there's more. You built the school from the foundation up. So the only thing I can think of that's more fitting for the two of you would be a part of the foundation of the school. So, for Mr. Kiernan, here is a piece of Integrity Hall's foundation from when we turned the school from the one-room schoolhouse that we started off in semester 2 to the building that you see today. Gavin? Probably more important than all of that for these two sailors is what every sailor shows up at NMI for. A dose of family, but to walk out the door at the end of their course with a certificate that they can turn in to the United States Coast Guard to be recognized for what they've achieved through these 2 years. I hold my hands. This is to certify that these two merchant mariners have successfully completed a course of applied nautical science at Northeast Maritime Institute. The first 2 certificates ever printed with this honor. I'd like to hand these officially over to you so they can be applied to your Coast Guard credential. Elijah, congratulations, sir. I'd like to formally recognize now the two of them, student merchant mariners, are shipmates. The word shipmate gets thrown around in the nautical profession quite a bit, but shipmate embodies what the two of these people are. They're family. We look after each other. We take care of each other. From all walks of life, we take care of each other. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, what you choose to do. We look out for each other. And the two of you, I couldn't ask for 2 better people to lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Sullivan. I am honored to introduce the next speaker, Dr. Vincent Patton, III, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Patton served as the 8th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard from May 1998 until his retirement of more than 30 years of active service in November 2002. In this position, he was Coast Guard's senior-most enlisted member, representing over 45,000 personnel as the principal advisor to the Commandant of the Coast Guard. His illustrious career included staff and operational assignments throughout the country, both afloat and ashore. Among his numerous military awards includes the Distinguished Service Medal, which is one of the nation's highest military peacetime recognition for performance of duty. His academic accomplishments include a doctorate degree of education, a degree from American University, a master's degree in counseling psychology at Loyola University at Chicago, a bachelor's degree in social work from Shaw College, and a bachelor's in communication from Pacific College. His extensive military education includes the Department of Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute, the United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy, and the Coast Guard Chief Petty Officers Academy. After his retirement from the United States Coast Guard in 2002, he was assistant professor at the University of California, Berkeley, teaching philosophy of ethics for 2 years, and was also a seminary student at the Graduate Theological Union, earning his Master of Theology in Applied Religious Studies and becoming an ordained minister. Soon after, he spent 7 years with Military Advantage, a division of Monster Worldwide and the world's largest military membership organization known as Military.com, as Director of Government, Partnership, and Alliances. Prior to his appointment as the Executive Director for the AFCEA Educational Foundation, he served as Vice President for Homeland Security Programs for the AFCEA International. Since his retirement from active duty in 2002, Dr. Patton has been actively involved in a number of public service, academic, and nonprofit organizations. He presently holds board memberships with the Northeast Maritime Institute, National Coast Guard Museum, U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps, and the U.S. Naval Institute. He is also a trained critical incident stress debriefing chaplain counselor with the Northern Virginia Trauma Response Ministry team. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Vince Patton.
Senior Chief Kehoe, and if you understand, when we refer to her as Senior Chief, she's also retired Coast Guard, and just an honor to see you up there along with Chief Tom Sullivan. So we got a good Coast Guard representation up there, so I think it's really awesome. Well, first of all, I want to say, good afternoon, everybody. All right, we're gonna have fun up here. That's the most important thing that I'm gonna do, not just to honor our 2 distinguished graduates, but those other gentlemen in the light blue shirts who also are going to soon be joining us up here in the future. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you here, especially all of the citizens of Fairhaven, and the importance of this academic institution in your own backyard is monumental. I'll share with you some words that the president and I had said a number of times, and he may have mentioned it here a little bit, that he made reference to the fact that Northeast Maritime Institute is the Harvard of maritime education. Now that's not too far-fetched, because I'm one of the people who, from the words of W. Clement Stone, it says, what the mind can conceive to believe, the mind can also achieve. I have watched from my 3 years of affiliation with this academic institution grow from just the center of thought to when the first day that we walked into what is now called Integrity Hall at its very beginning as the one-room schoolhouse, to this concept, crazy idea, that we're going to turn a vocational training program into a college degree, accredited college degree program. I joined in the crowd with Eric and Angela and a few others that as we marched on Boston to go and have a discussion with the Department of Education for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to give our plea and talk about how important this program was. We all went in there with this great heavy load of enthusiasm, but it was very difficult to put it all into tangible words. As I was sitting here and I was just looking out there, I only wish, Eric and Angela, that those people that we were in front of that day could be sitting in here to see exactly what we were talking about. What the mind can conceive to believe, the mind can also achieve. This is a very historical event. Not just for NMI, for Fairhaven, but for people all over. These two gentlemen, your shoulders are going to get a little bit more heavy there, young man. Primarily the fact that you're the Keystone Society of NMI. And what does that mean, besides having that little box with the key in it? Is having the concept, the thought, the ideas, the sweat. And I'm sure there may have been some tears along the way. The long, hard work of what you did and seeing the accomplishments of this. 20 years from now, you'll be back up here and maybe right in my position, telling the same story to a sea of people in light blue shirts about how your education was far from traditional, far from being defined as easy. But what you got out of it is something that will carry you on for the rest of your life. To the rest of the students here, this is your day too. Because you know what's happened here? If you haven't felt it when you walk in here, I know you'll feel it over the next several days, the next several years and so forth, that this will uplift you more about understanding the concepts of education, understanding about what career development is all about and how you can help others. It's probably best said from the book of Proverbs. I got to put my little religious hat on for a moment. Excuse me. From the book of Proverbs, 27:17, it says that as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. You are all viruses. Viruses of success. Viruses of being able to tell each and every one about what you have accomplished and the things of what you have done. Everybody else can follow in that lead. You are going to build a core value. Whatever that personal core value statement is all about, for you, you're going to build it. For me, over the course of my career, and you heard my success and academics, and I want to take a step back and talk a little bit about that. This isn't about me, but I want to be able to put it into context about why this is about you. I came from Detroit, Michigan, inner city. The fifth child of 10 kids, third born. 1972, I enlisted in the Coast Guard. I enlisted in the Coast Guard primarily because I wanted to get out of Detroit. My environment was not the greatest. But I had people who mentored me and taught me about crystallizing my thoughts and then my future. And what happened to me over the course of my Coast Guard career grew into it. And it all started in my second week in boot camp. Second week in boot camp, we had this great big giant picture that whenever you walked up and down the stairs, you would see, you could not miss this giant picture. But I was a little confused because this picture, it had spotlights on it, and it showed this very distinguished Coast Guardsman. The rank of Master Chief in the Navy and the Coast Guard carries 2 stars. But this picture shows this guy with 3 stars. So being as inquisitive as I was, first I went back to my Coast Guard's manual and looked up what is this person with 3 stars, and it wasn't in the book. So I asked my company commander, or our drill instructor, "Sir, there's a picture out on the first landing, and I think he's a Master Chief." And my company commander got it in my face, as those drill instructors do, and he says, "That's the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard." And as I stood there at attention, 2 weeks in the Coast Guard, Seaman Recruit Vincent Patton proudly says, "Well, what does he do?" my drill instructor got back into my face about this, Sergeant. He says, he tells the commoner what to do. Well, I thought that was pretty cool. So fast forward a few more weeks in the boot camp. It was 2 weeks long, and about week 6 or so is when they finally tell you what you can do in the Coast Guard and so forth. And so I probably go in there and I sit down. My career counselor shows me my scores, and I just seem to recruit. Patton says, "What school do I go to become the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard?" Well, my company commander thought I was being a smart aleck, because he was standing right behind him, and this is back in the days when he could touch you. He grabbed me, pulled me out of the chair, marched me out to the middle of the parade field, as we call the grinder, and told me to get down and give me 50 push-ups. It was July, Cape May, New Jersey, hot as all Dickens, and I cranked out 50 push-ups. I snapped back to attention, sweat pouring down me, and he gets back in my face and he says, "Patton, the day you become the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard, that's the day I'll walk on clouds." Well, you know, he was such a visionary, because he died before I became Master Chief of the Coast Guard. But what happened that day was twofold. One was the fact I was mad at my company commander, because, you know, he should have been encouraging me instead of thinking I was going to be a smart aleck. God might have said something about that later. But I wanted to become Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard. Now, the long story short of this is that it's somewhat near impossible by some definition, because only one person gets to hold that rank. One person. You just can't say, "I'm going to be Master Chief of the Coast Guard." You wait till your time comes and say, "Okay, it's my turn." There's a lot of people in between that kind of works their way, and then the decision of the Commandant of the Coast Guard, the 4-star Admiral, says who gets to do it. So I couldn't quite look 26 years ahead at that point, but what happened was, over the course of my career, up to my 26th year, when I was selected as Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard, I had a lot of people that helped me along the way. I call it my village. You know, there's this old term about it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the village included many people. One happened to be someone who later became the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard. But my point to the story is to tell you that in the world of academia, it all starts with coming up with your concept and your ideas, and as you work your way through school and you work your way through your academic learning and studies and the importance of it, you have to also accumulate your village. And your village consists of your fellow classmates, your teachers, everybody else around. And then when you get your diploma, you have graduated to now creating a bigger village. And to look upon others around you who aren't quite there yet to start their village, and you become a part of it. This is what's so important about today. You know, I will tell you that, why do we have all these people here just for 2 guys? You know, as far as I'm concerned, 2,000 people are here for 2 guys. And these 2 guys are going to continue to multiply and multiply with women and so forth. This is going to continue. You Keystone Society guys have a lot on your shoulders, because you are now going to be the sea days of everybody else that's going to come on after you. As young as you look, you're going to be old men at the end of this commencement. Because every one of those other young people around you and those sporting light blue powdered shirts and Northeast Maritime Institute ties are all your children. Because when we hand you your diploma, like I said, you're the old man. And from that point on, it's going to continue on and carry on and so forth. That's why it's so important. That's why, not only why we're here, why we're making such a big deal about this for you, but it's what you're going to do to make it a big deal for everybody else. We're all part of your village, and you're going to create some more villages beyond that. To the rest of this august group of students, listen to what I say, because as I keep wandering around, and come by and see you, I'm going to ask you, how's your village coming? Have you gone broke yet, taking people out to lunch? Huh? Because this is what you should be. This is what it's all about. My personal core values that I have learned over the course of my career and in the afterlife, after my military career, were 3 words: people, performance, and passion. Take care of the needs of your people. Take care of those who are around you. Be cognizant of everybody. Respect them, understand them, be there for them. Passion. Have that sense of enthusiasm in everything you do. Never take no for an answer. Find concepts, abilities, people to help you to build. And performance. Quite simply, prepare well so you can perform well. So, this is a great day for all of us, especially a great day for you two, Kevin, Elijah. I can't be any more proud of you, and also feel as your sea daddy that I am so proud to be here and so proud to be a part of this graduation exercise. And to all of you who have come here, thank you so much. This is very important. This is very important to this town. This is very important to this community. This is very important to our academic institution. We are the little train, the locomotive that could. And because we are, we're going to be, well, correction. We are the finest academic institution in the world. Better than Harvard. God bless you all.
Thank you, Master Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered today to celebrate the achievements, hard work, and dedication of our 2 graduates. We will now begin the most important part of the graduation ceremony, the conferring of the degrees. Kevin Richard Kiernan. Elijah Simmons.
We're not done. The board and the rest of us involved in making decisions at Northeast Maritime Institute have decided we'll be issuing an honorary degree annually. And that honorary degree will be based on delivering honors to an unsung hero. And in my world, the unsung heroes go unknown, unnoticed, and oftentimes end up with a star on the wall. This was a tough battle, beyond anything anybody would ever know. I think really only 2 people knew about the battle that really ensued. And the unsung hero behind making sure this happened made sure there was order, and made sure there was dignity, and made sure there was grace, and made sure there was effort, and made sure things simply got done in a timely manner, in a professional manner, and with the concept of excellence. This degree is an honorary degree of Associate in Arts in Educational Service in recognizing outstanding service and personal assistance that leads to the success of individuals in higher education. And this degree goes to Heather Ann Correa.
Thank you for attending today's ceremony. It was truly an honor and a privilege to have everyone here today. At the conclusion of the ceremony, please join us for a reception at Washington Street, 32 Washington Street, and we look forward to seeing everyone there.